program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to hit the pick. Touchdown! Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond and Christian Giordani. Bet on us to make you a better bettor.
What?
It's time to hit the pick.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Hit the Pick. I'm Christian Giordani. Alongside of me, we have Loud Esmond and David Delano from hitthepick.com. And if you head over to hitthepick.com, they have an all-in package, only $25 for any capper for 30 days. That is hitthepick.com. Fellas, how are you doing this fine afternoon?
I'm hanging in, man. I'm hanging in. It was a long week for me, a lot of travel, and I was teaching at a police department for 4 days, and so I'm a little bit beat. But I'm excited going into this weekend. This is one of the, great but underrated weekends of sports. You have NHL playoffs, a couple series that have to close out. You have the NBA playoffs, which David will speak to. Ladies and gentlemen, David Delano is the best basketball handicapper I've ever seen in my life. West is good. Scott's up there. Tom can hit street, but you, David Delano is consistent. I mean, he is consistently great at basketball. And then we were talking about The Godfather right before we came onto the show, and I'll give you my favorite Godfather impression. All right.
All right.
You can be man. Look, we sent you out to Hollywood so you can come back and learn how to cry like a woman. That's one of my favorite moments in that movie. And I got to tell you, are there any better sequences in filmmaking than the scene in Louis' restaurant where Michael kills the police chief and the Turk? Or the scene in The Godfather where he's settling all family business while he's at the christening?
Yeah, I like the christening. I mean, they're both great scenes, but it's the christening scene for me. I think that might be, I can't think of a better sequence in any film ever. And underrated line. I don't really like The Godfather 3 that much compared to the other ones, although there's some underrated parts in that one. And the reason I'm bringing up Godfather 3, I like that. Just when they think I'm doing a terrible impersonation, but just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Okay, I'll give you my Al Pacino in that one. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
There you go.
The best acting in that movie is the scene where he's having the stroke.
Yeah.
And he starts screaming out Fredo's name.
Yeah.
That is some amazing freaking acting. And by the way, if you have never seen the series that was made about the making of The Godfather, it's called The Offer, and it's on Paramount Plus. Have you seen it, David?
I haven't seen it, but I've got Paramount, so I have to check it out.
The Offer. It's about the making of the movie, and it is fan-freaking-tastic.
Okay.
So check it out. All right, Christian, where do you want to begin? We've got UFL, we've got Kentucky Derby, we've got NBA playoffs, we've got NHL playoffs.
Let's start off with NBA playoffs. We have the expert already here. We might as well.
Yeah, and I think we want to start with, because, this is Southern California. We know you're in Texas, David. But, of course, the big story here is the big face plant of the Lakers in the playoffs and what it means going forward.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers, a lot of people, when they want to pin things on LeBron, and I guess to a certain extent you do things long enough, but LeBron just can't.
They were trying to pin things on the coach.
A little bit of, I think JJ for first year did a nice job. When they made that trade to get Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets, they made a trade basically for a big man. And that trade got denied during the middle of the season due to him failing the physical. So they didn't really have that inside presence that they needed. You're seeing the teams that are winning, they've got that big presence. And Luka and LeBron, playing close to the whole game with no help off the bench. Right now, the NBA is just too deep, too talented to just have two guys carry you like that, no matter how great they are. So they just didn't have the depth. Minnesota was a complete team, and Anthony Edwards was the best superstar on the floor. So all of that was a combination for Timberwolves in 5.
Well, also, I don't watch the basketball games. Okay, that's not my thing. But I will tell you that I heard a lot that the Lakers are just too old. That there's youth on all these other teams. Oh, by the way, before we forget, the UFL game that's just started, Arlington Renegades, St. Louis Battlehawks. The play here is over 42. Sorry. All right, go on.
That actually is probably going to be one of the better UFL. I don't get that. It's probably, if you want to watch one, it's probably going to be one of the better ones to see. But no, I mean, LeBron's. He's 40, so I think this what showed with the age. We had basically 3 games in a row after the series was tied 1-1. He had 3 games in a row where, with 5 minutes left in the game, it was a toss-up. It was anybody's game. And all 3 times, the Timberwolves had more energy. They had more legs. They made the shots that the Lakers didn't. So people have been getting on Luka for his conditioning. Ron can't do anything about his age, but they just need to they need more depth on that team. And I don't know if Luka's ever going to just be a defensive force. So they're going to need to get better defensive players around them and younger legs around them.
Yeah, this Lakers team was really struggling. In Game 5, Rudy Gobert got 23 rebounds. JJ Redick just got out coached, and the Lakers got outran. And something I really do want to say that Stephen A. Smith said, the best player on that court was Anthony Edwards. He was a 23-year-old kid with a $200+ million contract, playing like he's broke.
Yeah. You summed it up. You summed it up perfectly with that. I think this is one of the first times in a long time we've seen somebody really just, LeBron not be the best on the court when he's really wanted to rev it up. Still great, but they need some help. They're playing LeBron like he's 23, playing him 46 minutes a day, like he's playing AAU out there, never coming out.
That could be the name of my biography. Playing like I'm broke.
Hey, that's
that, or the other one, is a ripoff from Iron Man 2. A cheap pickup line and some one-liners.
I like that one.
So,
all right, David. It's we're heading into round 2. We got 2 more games for this going week. We got the Rockets and the Warriors. I want to get your opinions on that game first.
Yeah, so I went to Game 5. As far as like the fan of me wants to see the Rockets force a Game 7, but I think it's just the Warriors night tonight. It was at 4. It's at 5.5, and for those listening, I like the Warriors to cover that number. Houston played a great game in Game 5, but the Rockets, one of the Rockets' weaknesses all season, they play tough, they play as a team, but they're not a great shooting team, and they shot 60% from 3 in that first half. I can guarantee you that's not going to happen again. And then I thought Steve Kerr made a smart decision not putting his starters in there in the fourth quarter. The Golden State bench played so well that the Rockets, Udoka had to put his starters back in there at the end of the game. Golden State does not want to go back to Houston for Game 7, and I think that the Warriors cover. I think Golden State wins tonight by at least 8 points. So I like the Warriors tonight.
I completely agree. Steph Curry has a history trailing the Warriors. Scorching the Rockets at Game 6. And David, how tired are you of just seeing Steph Curry in the playoffs as a Rockets fan?
I'm not.
Wait, hang on. I thought you were a Cavaliers fan.
I'm a Cavs fan. I am a Cavs fan. I'm in Houston, so if the Cavs play the Rockets, I'm going to be going for the Cavs. But if the Rockets are playing anyone else, unless I've got money on it, I'm rooting for the Rockets. So I like to go to a lot of games. So being 20 minutes away from the state, it allows me to, go see the games, and it's easy to follow the team when you're down here. So, but thanks for clearing that. But no, I'm actually to the point now, and maybe when you just get a little older, I think with the NBA, with like LeBron and Steph Curry and all these guys, I guess I'm because I've been following them since Davidson days. I'm kind of appreciating it, even though I want them to, lose tonight. I'm really appreciating watching these guys while they're here, because once they're gone, I'm not as there's some great players coming up, but I'm not as excited about where the NBA is going to be in 5 years from now, to be honest with you. So I think it's a good story to still just kind of appreciate the greatness.
And then what other series are there going on right now, Christian?
We have the Nuggets and the Clippers in a Game 7 to decide who goes to the second round.
And the Denver Nuggets big player is, remind me, David?
Yeah, Nikola Jokic for
Jokic.
Denver Nuggets too. I think should be the MVP again, even though they're pretty sure they're going to give it to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Oklahoma City. But the Joker averaged a triple-double this year, and I like the Nuggets. I like the Nuggets in Game 7. One thing, I've watched a lot of Rockets basketball over the last decade, even being a kid from Ohio and even the James Harden days, and we'll see what happens, but I just would not bet on James Harden in the Game 7. I just would not. And I think that Denver's going to win it at home. Right now, I think the line's only 1.5, which I think is a bargain. They haven't been giving the Denver Nuggets a lot of respect at home. When the games are in LA, the Clippers are like a 7-point favorite. And then when it goes back to Denver, the line's only at 1. So all we really got to do is pick the winner here. I actually said Nuggets in 7 before the series started, so I'm sticking with that.
FYI, the Arlington Renegades are almost in the red zone, and they've converted 2 3rd-and-1s going down. They got the original kickoff and are moving all the way down. I'd love to see a touchdown on the opening march to get towards that over 42. We'll get to the UFL once we wrap up with David on the NBA. So anything else, David, you want to add on the NBA right now?
Yeah, I think this we got some interesting series coming up. I mean, the Cavs and the Pacers. I think we're eventually going to end up seeing the Celtics and Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. But I think it's going to be an interesting test to see if the Cavs are as good as they showed all season and against Miami, or if the Milwaukee Bucks were just that bad. Because Indiana gave the Cavs some problems and they looked really good against the Bucks. So I don't think the Pacers win the series, but I think that that's going to be a competitive series.
Christian, let me just knock out the UFL because I want to get to the Kentucky Derby handicapping and my NHL stuff.
Jump right into it, Loud.
Like I said, just tonight, the offenses have taken hold now in the UFL. The overs are something like 10 out of 12 in the last 3 weeks after being next to nothing in the first 2 weeks. And I told everybody, hey, watch out. Weeks 3 on, you're going to see a lot of overs start to cash. The offenses start to take over in the UFL. Keep in mind, they don't have a preseason. So they haven't even played a game. Offense has to catch up to defense. And now, this time of year, we're starting to see 33-32, 37-28, those types of scores. I love Max Duggan from TCU, who is now leading the Battlehawks. My best bet last week in the UFL was Duggan over 24.5 rushing yards. He ended up with 70 and 2 touchdowns. And you could have caught that prediction on In-Game Live on Sports Grid Radio and TV last week. My hit started about 4:30. Tomorrow, I will be handicapping the Kentucky Derby on Sports Grid TV on Scott Wetzel's show In-Game Live on Saturday. The early game on Saturday, Showboats Roughnecks. I know both these teams kind of suck, but the Showboats put up 24 points last Friday night and won outright as a 10.5-point dog. The Roughnecks scored 27 points in an absolute throttling of the previously surging Brahmas. That adds up to 51 if I do the math. And the total in this game right now is 36.5. Yeah, I like the over in the Saturday early game. Sunday early, Defenders Panthers. The Defenders offense exploded for 37 points last week. Michigan scored 27. This total is 41.5. Yeah, I'm over on that one as well. And then Brahma Stallions, Look, I took the Showboats last week plus 9.5 against the Stallions. And my logic was simple. The Stallions aren't beating anybody by more than 2 or 3 points when they win. By the way, inexplicably, the Stallions are still the favorite to win the whole thing, which makes no sense to me. The Showboats beat them outright. Now the Stallions are favored again by 9.5 over the Brahmas. Now the Brahmas took a beating and lost 27-3 last week, looking pretty lifeless. But before that, they'd been surging. 9.5 is too many points here on the Stallions until they start to win more games by more than 1 point or losing to outright dogs. I'm not buying into the preseason hype anymore on the Stallions, so I will take the Brahmas plus 9.5. That is your UFL betting update, and I'm done.
One thing I will say, I like your picks. The only one, and I know that's a lot of points delay, but the Brahmas look dead to me. I think the Roughnecks are terrible, and they somehow beat them by 24 points. But we'll
the Brahmas, the 2 weeks before that, had done really well, and they actually beat the Stallions.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm leaning. You'll notice 3 of my picks are points this week, and only one is 3 of my picks are totals, and only one is a side team bet, right? That's because I have no idea in a lot of these games now because you're getting really strange outcomes. And I told people from the beginning of the season, that happens in the UFL. For some reason, dogs win outright, and then the next week it's all chalk. It's really hard to predict that way. But there is a pattern here with points, which is once they get past like week 3, 4, the point totals start to really go up. And unfortunately, they're going to have to settle for a field goal try here after taking 7 minutes off the clock in the first quarter. And the field goal is good, and it's 3 points for the Renegades, but I would have much rather have seen a touchdown. David, do you like hockey at all? Do you handicap it at all?
Yeah, honestly, I've actually been doing better during the NHL playoffs than I've even been doing during the NBA playoffs. But yeah, I'm 7-2 run right now in the NHL playoffs, man. So yeah, and I do like, for the record, I do like Dallas in this game 7 against Colorado. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so I had a bunch of series picks at the beginning of the start of the playoffs. I had the Golden Knights winning 4-1 or 4-2. I had the Hurricanes winning 4-1 or 4-2. Both those cashed. And I had the Leafs advancing. And now I need the Jets to win tonight to make me like 4 for 4 on my series picks on those. But I got to tell you, I'll be honest, I thought the Panthers Lightning would go at least 6 games, and so I was wrong on that. Kings Oilers, I thought could go either way, and I thought the same of the Avs and the Stars.
Gotcha.
And as far as the Avs and the Stars, I'm not making any picks in that series. It's a dogfight, and it will continue to be. As far as what's coming up in round 2, I think the Panthers easily take out the Leafs. VGK dispatches the Oilers. Hurricanes, Capitals. I lean Capitals, but I'm not betting on it right now.
Yeah, one thing I saw, at least a stat I saw before with Dallas, Dallas's coach Pete DeBoer, 8-0, we say all time in game 7s, and on the other end for the coach for the Avalanche, 0-3 all time in game 7s. It's just something to think about. I know it only just takes one, but
now I'm sorry. Actually, it gets worse. They made the field goal. It was called back on an illegal motion. And how you have illegal motion on a field goal attempt, I don't know. But then they bent back 5 yards and missed the field goal. So they've burnt half the first quarter, and the score is 0-0. As Ilhan Omar said today, F that. Anyway, Kentucky Derby. David, do you like horse racing?
You know, I never got too much into horse racing. The last couple years, I've done some like research on the Derby and I watched the actual race, but it's not something that I follow. It's not something that I really
Christian,
follow.
what about you? Have you ever been to the horse races?
I have never stepped foot in a horse race.
Okay, so here's the deal. Next year on my birthday, when Hit the Pick is making thousands of dollars a day, I am going to take some of my income and I'm going to bring everybody to Santa Anita on my birthday, or at least my birthday weekend, to go to the horse races on a Saturday. There is nothing like Santa Anita on a 70-degree day when there's 12 races between noon and 6 p.m. It is an amazing way to spend a day. Horse racing, when there's 100,000 people in the stands and those horses make that final turn and it's a tight bunch, man, the energy in the stands, I would compare it to a tie game in the hockey playoffs when the goalie gets pulled and there's 50 seconds left in the game. That's the kind of electricity you're talking about. I love horse racing. So I will be handicapping the Kentucky Derby tomorrow, 2:30 p.m., Sports Grid TV, Sports Grid, Sirius XM Radio. Here's what I'm going to say so you can get it here now. The last 3 Kentucky Derby winners were 18-1, 15-1, and 80-1. Favorites in horse racing only win about 30% of the time. And even if they win, when you bet on them, the payout is de minimis. So as a value bettor, I always look for horses with a decent chance of winning, but with some juicier odds that will provide a better payout. Now, in a race where you've got this many horses, 19, I'm forgetting the exact bets off the top. I am not trying a superfecta, trifecta, exacta, any of that. In a field with this many horses, trying to pick who's going to be the top 2, top 3, even if you box them, what's going to happen always is some horse that's 50-1 is going to end up coming in and you lose the whole bet. When you have this many horses in a field, horses get stuck, they get pushed out in traffic, weird things happen. Now, so I'm going to be in this race looking for horses somewhere between 10-1 and 30-1 that I think can provide a decent payout that have a chance of winning. And I will bet several of them. Now, complicating the picture at the Derby this year, it's going to be raining. And there may be thunderstorms as well and wind. When you get a wet, sloppy track, there's even further chaos and weird outcomes because a lot of the horses aren't used to running on wet. They don't like the mud in their face. So you look for horses called mudders. That is horses that have won on muddy and wet tracks. And there's 3 that I like. Coal Battle is 27-1. Won in soupy conditions in Evangeline Downs. That was his first win in his career, July 25. And he won the Jean Lafitte Stakes over a muddy track at Delta Downs. Publisher, 28-1. That horse hasn't won a race yet, but came in 3rd on a sloppy track at this race, Churchill Downs, September 27. 2nd in similar conditions, December 29 at Oaklawn. And American Promise, which was 30-1 a couple days ago, is now 12-1 because it's a speed horse, which is great for this race. And he has won on sloppy tracks. And by the way, he's got great lineage as he is the son of Triple Crown winner Justify. A couple of Japanese horses in this race have won on some mud, but foreign horses winning the Derby is extremely rare, and no Japanese entry has ever won the Race for the Roses. Journalism is the favorite. Salmon and Sovereignty are close behind. I'm also going to play Sandman for 100 to win and Sovereignty for 100 to win. I'm going to put 25 on Coal Battle, 25 on Publisher, and 50 on American Promise. Now, if you want to hedge your bets, take it down a little bit and take each one of those horses to win, place, and show, and you could still get a nice payout. All right, that's my Kentucky Derby.
Wow. Loud, for someone who's never bet on horse racing, what would be your first advice to a rookie horse bettor?
Don't bet too much. Because you don't know what the hell you're doing. Look, the fact is favorites only win 30% of the time. Big long shots rarely win. And what's going to happen this year is because the horse that won last year was 80-1, you're going to have a lot of people taking big long shots because the public bettors dominate the Kentucky Derby. So look for a value horse. Right now, if I was to pick one
1 minute,
one horse that I'm going to put everything on for a great payout, it would be American Promise at 12-1. That would be the one horse if I had to put everything on, if my back was against it. And then a couple other long shots. Let's say it's not as wet as they're thinking it's going to be. Burnham Square and Flying Mohawk are both at least at 30-1, but they're speed horses, and speed horses win the Derby a lot.
Who is the favorite? I know you said favorites aren't, good bets, but who is the favorite this year?
Hang on just a second. I'm going to go back to that. And your favorites are, you would ask me that, and I'm going to have to go back to it. Sandman and Sovereignty are 2 and 3. Journalism is the favorite at 4-2.
Journalism. Gotcha. Well, no need to know. He's not going to win, so I can't.
Well, no, the favorite wins about 30% of the time. And my feeling about horse racing is I don't want to bet the favorite because I have to put up so much money to win X. And so, I want horses that have a chance to win, but are going to give me a decent payout.